Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Wrestling Paradox Podcast Season 3 premiere tonight. That is it. We are done with Season 2. It is in the books. It is a wrap. It was a great season. We had some amazing guests on. We had some very interesting storylines coming out of AEW and NXT. We talked about a few here and there. But our main focus has been AEW, and I am not looking forward to the next episode, but it's another time, another day. Tonight we have a very, very special guest on, a bang to open up Season 3. But before we get into that, we need to get our sponsorship out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is sponsored by M&J Ecological. You can reach out to Marcus for all your nuisance needs. Any snakes, reptiles, anything in the South Florida area from Miami to West Palm Beach, he can take care of. 305-697-2258. Again, call Marcus 305-697-2258. All right, that is out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to do the introduction. He deserves a big one, but I can't offer it. We don't have WWE money.
First off, he's a hard man to get. He's a hard man to book.
Very tough. This has been a long time in the making, trying to get him on the show. He's a Bears fan, so that kind of irks me. But ladies and gentlemen, Jake St. Patrick.
What is that?
Welcome to the Paradox, my boy.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake St. Patrick. Jake, first of all, I mean, I'm sure everybody's asking, wow, where can I follow this guy on Twitter? So where can they find you?
Twitter at Bangerang Jake. That's Banger, Bangerang, Bangerang Jake, Jake, of course.
Very nice, very nice. Instagram too, same thing?
Oh, absolutely. So my Instagram would be Jake, all lowercase, _Saint, that's ST with a period, Patrick. So it is Jake _Saint Patrick at Instagram. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's just Jake St. Patrick. You should be able to find me. I also have a YouTube channel, Jake St. Patrick Wrestling. Please feel free to check that out. Subscribe if you want to.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome, man. All right, dude. So Jake, I don't know really where to begin this. First things first, credentials. You are one of the top guys in the indie scene right now. You are obviously known around the indie community. You've had previous tryouts that we'll get into with different companies. I'm pretty sure with that. And man, with CCW, who we are kind of affiliated with now going into Season 3, we got some special things in the works with CCW with Nelio and Dan. You're one of their top trainers. You're one of their guys. Like, you are the leader in the room almost, or apparently, according to Nelio. You there?
Give me just 1 second.
Oh, yeah,
no, you're good.
No, for sure. Do your thing, man.
You're good.
It's cool, man. People I'm sure are just sitting on the edge of the seat for this interview. I know I am. All right.
There you go.
There we go. We're good.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. Right. So like I was saying, yeah, man, you are almost the leader of the locker room for CCW. Like that's according to Nelio, that's how they look at you. So, all right, a giggle.
So could we nickname him the Indie Taker?
The Indie Taker.
I will not take that. I will not accept that. That man is too legendary for me to even come close to even trying to go anywhere near that name.
Well, not Undertaker, Indie Taker.
Indie Taker, just Indie Taker.
No, nowhere near.
It's too close. It's too close.
That's awesome, man. But yeah, you find yourself in that leadership role, or?
Honestly, I think I am probably one of those natural born leaders, to where if there isn't someone taking charge, if there isn't someone leading, I'm just going to go ahead and fill that role and fill that void. If there's no one to take lead and no one to take charge, because someone has to do it. And, I've been at this for about 6 years now, so I kind of got a little bit of knowledge. And with the CCW locker room, most of those guys don't have the experience that I have as far as tenure. Like most of those guys are like 3-4 years in the game. So I guess that's kind of how I floated into the locker room leader role, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was like what is it? It's like there was an absentee leader, and you were just pushed to the lead the lead of the line. You're like, oh hey, you've been here the longest, like seniority.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wasn't really forced into the role. I kind of, again, I'm a natural born leader, so I just kind of, I guess, tiptoed my way into it. I don't know. It just happened.
Well, you really have to garner that respect of the locker room, and
Oh,
obviously you
definitely.
have that. And I've seen you behind the scenes. We've both seen you behind the scenes at tapings and different shows, and you definitely you give out that respect, and you definitely receive it back that we see. I guess that's how you feel that leadership role. People have to respect you in the locker room. There.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, as far as what we see, yeah, the respect is definitely a huge aspect of that.
Oh yeah, respect is definitely a must. That is something that is earned, not given. You definitely have to work hard, and as the saying goes, you have to pay your dues to get that respect. And as when you're a wrestler, you're never done paying your dues. But I've paid some dues, so I guess that respect, again, that respect was earned. It wasn't just given to me. I had to earn that.
Very nice. All right. Well, we have to get into one segment. All right. And I'm gonna throw on my old man glasses. Like I said, old man glasses. All right. So we have a couple questions from a
Now,
guest.
mind you, we just talked about leadership in the locker room. Okay, I'm just letting you know that right now. The questions, where this person, the questions came from, just leaving it at that. It's
All right. So these questions came from a special guest. So I'm actually gonna just go ahead and take this one off. All right.
Oh wow, my
Got a
boy.
couple questions that we have to ask. All right.
I told you you're gonna pop.
All right. So the first question is who is the best professional wrestler today, and why is it Will Austin?
And why is it Will Austin?
These are the questions from our followers. I just asked them. They're sent anonymously. I don't know who sends these. It's a like a black web email. I don't know. It's weird.
The best professional wrestler in the world today, his name is Jake St. Patrick.
There we go. I like that answer.
That's a very good answer.
If you don't have the confidence to believe that you are the best, then you're not the best, and you're not going to be the best.
It sounds like the person that asked that question is full of confidence, though.
Absolutely, as he should be. As he should be.
Yeah.
If you have the credentials that man has, if you've done the things that man has done, you have a right to be a little confident.
Well, we have a couple of these that I just have a few for you. It's there's only four. There's only four. We're gonna ask off. I'm gonna give the guy respect. This was sent in from another person here. 3 times you were scheduled before to face Will Austin, and due to some weather problems, I believe
Rain.
Yes. Let me see here. He worded this really weird. You guys never really got the one-on-one. What do you think would have happened if you and Will faced one-on-one, babyface versus babyface?
Match of the night, easy.
Night?
That's gonna be match of the night, easy.
I mean, in my book, sir, I would rank that up closer to a match of like indie year. But okay, if you want to go night, we'll go there. But all right, I mean, look, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Babyface Will Austin, babyface Jake St. Patrick. I'm like all over that. I'm sitting front row. I'll pay the extra. That's
definitely gonna be one of those 5-star matches. You're definitely gonna get your money's worth with that one.
Uncle Dave would be proud. All right, I like the answer. So question number 3, sent in another guest via our Twitter. Don't know the email, sorry. If you hadn't jumped Will Austin in Tennessee before the backstage match, do you really think the outcome would have been the same? The outcome would have been the
Absolutely.
same. Yeah,
absolutely.
Why did you find it necessary to jump Will Austin in the back?
You know what?
Questions. I'm just asking them.
In this business, sometimes you have to get a leg up on your opponent.
Okay.
And, we got rained out. I saw my opportunity, and I took it. And I'm sure if Will Austin had the opportunity, he would have done the exact same thing.
Understood. Yes, sir.
Sounds like Mr. St. Patrick is the opportunist, and that's what comes with seniority in the business.
Yeah, you know, when I was a young Thundercat in this business, I was taking the opportunities that were given to me, even though they were few and far between. Now I don't take opportunities that are given to me. I just simply take the opportunity.
Yeah, that's take the bull by the horns.
Got to.
Are you ready for the fourth question?
Oh, here
Absolutely.
we go.
Let's go.
All right. This is the fourth and final. All right. Fourth and final question. Will is making obvious moves in Puerto Rico. This person's really obsessed with Will Austin. I'm so sorry. I did not know this question. They were picked at random by a generator. It wasn't my fault. Fourth and final. Will is making obvious moves in Puerto Rico. What are you doing to top that moves of him being in Puerto Rico and elevating himself? How are you elevating yourself? And when will you be on Will Austin's level?
Well, I will never be on Will Austin's level because I am at a level above Will Austin.
Wow.
That is number one. Number two.
Clip that. We got to clip it. Clip it. We're going to send that to. We're going to clip
now,
it. Send it to Will Austin.
I am currently training under the tutelage of a WWE Hall of Famer and legend. You all know him as Devon Dudley.
I have seen videos.
I've seen a little bit of his work. Only a little bit of his work. It's fine.
Yeah. He's pretty good. He's all right.
The one that didn't stutter, right? That one? The other one?
Okay.
Yeah. So
they were adopted brothers.
It's a gang. It's a bunch of them.
Yeah, the big dick Spike. Yeah. Sign Guy Dudley. It's fine.
But with the knowledge that man has, and the rapport that he has, the respect that he has in the business, the tenure that he's had in the business, learning under him, honestly, has probably been one of the best moves for me because every time I go to practice, every time I'm around Devon, I learn something new every single time. There has not been one time where I've been in front of Devon where I did not learn something new, whether it be something small or something huge. I've learned something either about myself or about the wrestling business, either the business side, the wrestling side, the politics side. I've learned something every single time.
That's, obviously Devon's had the role backstage as a producer and an agent for WWE, and there's a reason for that. That guy's so smart in the business. He's been doing this for 30 years.
Oh yeah, about as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, longer than that, 30 plus years. There's no question about it. If you are a wrestler and you're living in Florida and you're not at CCW or Devon school, you're doing something wrong because Devon is a place that Devon is a guy that you're going to get that knowledge from the big show, you know what I'm saying, from a bigger aspect. And he's so smart. I've heard it. You're not the first person I've talked to that said that. So that's something that carries with him.
Absolutely. Again, like every time I go there, it's, okay, this is how we do it here, but this is how they do it there. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, if you're going to be there, you can do that, but you're not going to get away with that here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like with that, every time it's like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. It's starting to, like a light bulb is starting to go
clicking.
Off. Yeah, it's clicking. Yeah. It hasn't clicked fully yet, but it's getting there.
If it hasn't clicked fully yet and it's getting there, I am very excited for the future of Jake St. Patrick.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm very excited for the future of Jake St. Patrick. So now that the questions are out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, it is season 3 of the Wrestling Paradox podcast, and some things are changing around here. I am changing the way I watch shows. I am changing the way I judge wrestlers. I have heard through the grapevine. I have heard that somebody might be making a heel turn soon, and I am all about it. I'm just living in the moment. So we will see what happens in the next couple months of AEW. So anyway, Chris, I'm gonna start supporting your boy now. All right.
Good.
Dude, I hope when Trent comes back, he just like reaches up and just orange punches Trent and be like, "Whoa, you weren't here for me," and just like turns the whole heel thing. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for that Orange Cassidy to come out in black denim. It's coming one day. I'm praying for it. How
That guy's
dope would that be?
awesome.
Am I wrong here? Am I the minority here that this guy coming out in black denim and just being heel Cassidy would be the greatest thing right now?
I think that would actually be pretty awesome.
Would that be not badass? I mean, come on, man.
And we should call him that, heel Cassidy.
Heel Cassidy. We don't need Denim Dan no more running around beefing with, Miro. Come on, in his Gucci slides. Like, dude, we're not getting into it. Jake St. Patrick, you are a guest of the Paradox. Thank you for coming. So, Chris, I'm gonna let you open this up. I feel like the show hasn't even started yet. We just been shooting this shit. This has been amazing. Chris, I'm gonna let you open it up, man. I know you got some great questions for him, so please.
So you said that you've been in the, pursuing this for 6 years. What made you get into it? Like, were you a wrestling fan when you were younger? Or?
Oh man, yep. I am your typical. I've been watching this since I was a baby. Like my grandpa got me into it. His favorite wrestler was Junkyard Dog. So that's how far this goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember when I was a bit like I can't remember when I was a baby, but I'm pretty sure I've watched Junkyard Dog. Of course, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, all those guys from the 80s. And then when I finally really started watching it was when I was 5 years old. We had a VHS cassette tape that shows our age.
Mm-hmm.
It was of the 1991 Royal Rumble, and on the case, it was probably all of the colorful wrestlers that you could think of. Legion of Doom was on there, Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, Undertaker, Big Boss Man, Ted DiBiase, Jake the Snake Roberts, Macho Man Randy Savage. That list can go on for decades and decades. But the match that stuck out to me the most was the opening match, which was the Rockers, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels versus the Orient Express. The person that stood out to me the most, of course, you could guess it, HBK Shawn Michaels.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Marty Jannetty.
Have you thrown somebody off a bridge lately, sir?
The way he sold, the way he moved in the ring, it was just so fluid, so flawless, so finesse. And I was like, yep, that right there. And ever since I've been 5 years old, it's just been wrestling. Now, when I got into high school, professional wrestling took a back seat because it was football. But on Monday nights, it would be Monday Night Football on one channel. As soon as Monday Night Football went to commercial, flip it to Raw.
Oh, so you were a Raw fan?
Yeah. Now, when the Monday Night Wars were happening, I lived in Illinois. TNT was channel 29, and USA was channel 28. So I didn't have to go too far to this channel. It was literally just one channel up or one channel down. And literally, when one went to commercial, I would flip to the other one. So that's how I was when I was
you were red zoning NFL, Raw, and Nitro. That's what you were doing. You were just going back.
Pretty much, yes.
Well, I mean, on Monday Night Football in that era, I mean, it was just the Vikings beating up on the Packers and the Bears anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
You're gonna forget the immaculate catch there where he scooped out.
Oh, come on. That touched the ground, so.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't.
That's when you guys had Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper.
All right, so for the record, I am a Packer fan. Yep. Jake St. Patrick is a Bears fan, and Jake, our buddy Chris right now, right there, is a Minnesota Viking fan.
Well, I have cousins who are Vikings fans, so I actually
for both of you.
Earlier this year, I bet that the Bears were going to beat the Vikings, and they didn't. So I owed my cousin $20, but now he owes me $20 because the Bears just beat the Vikings.
But the only reason why I'm a Vikings fan is when I was younger, I actually met Chris Carter, and this is when he was at the Eagles, and when he caught the point of the ball with his palm, just one-handed like that, I'm like, kind of like you with Shawn Michaels. I was like, that's athleticism. Like you don't see that. So I followed him to Minnesota, and then this kid by the name of Randy Moss came along, and I'm like, okay, yeah.
3 catches, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns.
On Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I'm like, yep, that 1998 was that, 97, 98, 99. Those were the years for and then Morton Anderson screwed it, but whatever. We won't get into that.
So you were an HBK fan. I have to ask, what was your reaction as a child watching him put Jannetty through the barber glass window? How did you like?
I will give you my exact facial reaction.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
And, you know, me being a kid, I'm like, oh, my God, he just threw him through a glass window. He's got to be bleeding on the other side of that. And then Heenan goes, oh, I know he was going to do that.
Yeah, he fell through the window.
Yeah, he tripped and fell through the window. But you know what the great thing is, though, is after that, they were the babyface tag team. And then Shawn Michaels went his own way, and he became, you know, the HBK. But they paired him with Sherry Martel. The best thing they could have ever done. Like I've said this from day one. That is the best babyface heel turn because they put him with a heel valet, which you never saw back then.
No.
You never saw a babyface turn and get a heel valet. It was always a solo deal. And I think Sherry Martel amped Shawn Michaels to be that bigger heel.
Oh, yeah, she was literally the perfect piece to that puzzle. And it just, I'll give you another one, just like Paul Bearer with Undertaker. It was just a perfect fit. Like, you couldn't have gotten anybody better than that.
Yeah, I mean, even when you had Lex Luger, wasn't he with Sherry at one point in time? Or he had a heel valet too that would hold the mirror up before he became the Lex Express. He was like into himself, the egotistical like bodybuilder looking in the mirror, the narcissist, yes. And like he had a heel valet, and it was just I always loved that. I think that's what's missing in wrestling nowadays is you don't get heel valets.
Oh yeah, like Andrade had it for a while with Zelina.
But she wanted an OnlyFans. She wanted an OnlyFans, so it's fine.
Then that faded out. Rusev had it with Lana, but then that faded out. Because honestly, I think that Rusev Lana thing before she started getting in the ring, when she was actually speaking Russian or whatever language she was speaking, because I don't know if it's Russian or not.
She's from Nashville, so I don't know.
but again, like when you have that dominant male wrestler with a strong, passionate female valet, it's almost like a match made in heaven. Like you can't get any better than that.
Right. You know, and this is what's great is about our interviews is when we learn so much about you guys and everything like that. You said that you started watching wrestling at a young age. Yeah, Noah King last week said he started watching wrestling at a young age. And actually, him and I, towards the end of the show, we fell in love because we started talking about British indie wrestling and, you know, European. And him and I, we could have gone on for hours.
They don't get enough credit over there. Those guys overseas, they don't get enough credit.
Joe actually had us to be like, all right, we're done. Like, we have to go home on this. We could have talked all night about British pro wrestling. Bruce Leroy, even the same thing. Like he would say, hey, a young age, this, that, and the other. And Will Austin's like, nah, I just picked it up because I got hurt and got tired of getting banged up in football.
So wrestling's the out.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Like, yeah. And Alex Ocean was the same way. I mean, he said he watched wrestling when he was younger, but never like thought about getting into it. And then he just picked it up one day.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of how it was for me. Like after football, I was like, okay, what do I do now? And it was, you know, in college, it was, you know, intramural sports, you know, intramural basketball, intramural football, intramural baseball, like that. I wasn't taking hits or anything like that, but it was still like I was involved in sports. And then I graduated college and I was like, okay, now what do I do? So it was just weightlifting until literally I met up with my cousin one day. And he's like, yeah, man, you know, they have wrestling events around the corner from grandma's house. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. Told me the venue. Literally, I'd say maybe a 10-minute walk from my grandmother's house. Went there, met the owner of the building. He gave me the number of one of the head guys that was at the promotion, which is 01 USA, which is mainly in Illinois, but they have branched out. But that was where I first started. I was 26 years old, called up Bear St. Pierre, who was my original trainer. He said, be here on Thursday. I was there on that Thursday, set up me and him by ourselves, set up the ring, took my first bump, and I was like, yep, this is it. This is what I want to do.
That's so fucking cool.
That is, yeah, it's like,
that's an awesome story, dude.
It's like, oh, man.
That's going to be told on WWE Network one day.
And honestly, I really wish I would have gotten to this sooner, but everything happens for a reason. Time waits for no man, and it all just, I guess it happened at the time that it was supposed to happen.
You know, I mean, look at you. Your physique is obviously in a lot better shape than other people. You took care of your body. You made sure you were in an excellent condition when jumping into this. I mean, you look at someone like DDP. Obviously, you followed wrestling at a young age. DDP was a manager until he was 37.
35, if I'm not mistaken.
35? Okay, 35. Yes. He managed who do you manage? Diamond Stud, right? Was it Razor?
I want to say,
and
I want to say he managed Scott Hall.
And Vinny Vegas too.
Yeah. So he was their manager, and he got into wrestling at 35. You got into wrestling at 26, and you're in a lot better shape than DDP was at that time. I mean, dude, you had to pick it up so great and easy. I mean, seeing you now to say you've only been doing this 6 years is like, nah, he's bullshit, and he's doing it longer. Like, he's been doing it since he was like 15, 16, jumping around on a trampoline and shit. So, like, to see you.
I would backyard wrestle, but it wouldn't be like what I do now.
Right.
Like, it would be, do a swanton. Well, I'm not really going to do a swanton off top of anything because I don't want to kill you or myself. So I'm just going to kind of do a little small somersault on you and call it a swanton.
There you go.
So Mick Foley wasn't an idol of Jake St. Patrick growing up jumping off houses.
Actually, I had not heard about Mick Foley literally until he became Mankind.
Gotcha.
And then when he got to WWE, that is when I researched him. I was like, oh my God, this guy's been everywhere.
I'm about to say, so that's like, you were kind of oblivious to him in Japan and things like that.
Didn't know nothing. Didn't know nothing about Japan. Didn't know he was in ECW. Didn't know he was in WCW for a hot second. Didn't know none of that. He just came in as Mankind, and then he started to transition into the Cactus Jack and Mick Foley. I'm like, oh my God, he's everywhere. He can. And then like
in this Rumble 4 times.
Stuff that he does, like getting tossed off Hell in a Cell off rip. That's just like, bro, he didn't die and he came back in that right there. That moment in history alone should let everybody know that man would have died for this business.
Yeah. Now we talked about your physique. Can you imagine like if Mick Foley would have kept his body in like some sort of shape, the longevity he would have had?
I don't know. He had a lot of cushion.
A lot of that might have saved his life.
Well, now you see,
exactly.
You didn't know him in like WCW, but do you remember WCW Saturday Night? They used to go on the rotating stage. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, he started doing that elbow drop off the apron onto the floor, on that hard floor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he says that he developed the hip problem, but he couldn't stop doing it because you had like the guys like Jim Herd and Barnett and Dusty Rhodes telling him, hey, they're popping for that. You have to continue to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was such a wrestling mind that he's like, I've got to continue to do that. And like he put himself for the business. He put his health in jeopardy for that. But if he would have just kept himself like in such like a little bit better shape, like, I mean, he might not have to throw himself off the top of the Hell in a Cell.
One thing I learned from him, I've met him a few times.
Mm-hmm.
He has said it's not the move, it's the person doing the move. Mm-hmm. So I can't say if he would have kept his body in better shape, maybe he wouldn't have had to do those moves. I can't say that because,
right.
If he would have kept himself in better shape, who knows? Would he be doing moonsaults? Would he be doing, stuff off the top rope? We don't know.
Right.
Because, I mean, like he did his, the elbow drop from the top of the cage, but, he wanted to be Jimmy Superfly Snuka at the time. Man. So, I don't know. That's one of those what if.
Right. It's a big what if. Like, this is, and that's what I love about professional wrestling is an escape from reality. It's a whole bunch of what ifs. Like, that's all it is.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question real quick, Jake. We're obviously all in that same age bracket. We grew up with kayfabe and things like that before the internet. And wrestlers were, I don't want to say cut from a different cloth, but they were a lot harder hitting back then and a lot different than what we are now. And I think myself personally, I had a hard time adjusting with the business. I miss like Brody Lee passing away really hit me because I was a big Bruiser Brody fan. And reminded me of him so much.
Yes.
When Mick Foley was told, "Hey, keep doing that move because they're gonna pop for it," even though it was hurting him, he kept doing it. Are wrestlers still built that same way? Would you keep doing something over and over if it popped for the crowd, but you were taking a bump every time and you're like, dude, this fucking hurts like really bad? I mean, I'm just interested because you're behind the curtain, man. I know that's a tough question, but like, are there still wrestlers like that? Like, are there still wrestlers who are like, this is for the crowd? Like, I know it hurts, but I'm gonna fucking. I mean, Alex Ocean puts gussets in his head every night, obviously, So like, there's a difference. Death match wrestling is just a whole nother extreme.
That's a whole different ball game,
folks.
But
CCW, you're doing a backflip over the top rope every night and you're hurting your ankle every time you land. Are you going to keep doing that backflip over the top rope just because the crowd keeps popping on it?
I'm going to find a better way to land.
Yep.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer.
Someone better catch me.
To be honest, I'm going to try because I've done that. I've done moonsaults to the outside.
Oh, I know you have. I've seen you do it plenty of times, so that's why I brought that move.
Yep. I've hurt my toes. I've hurt my ankles. I've hurt my shins. And it's just like, okay, I got to find a better way to land because they're popping for it. So I got to do it.
Or someone better catch me. I better have someone down there to catch me. I had a little bit more hands, like a Randy Moss or something like that. What I call it.
Well, now what I do, if I do any dive to the outside, I dive to land on my feet.
Gotcha. Because
there has been a time or two where I have done a moonsault to the outside and the guy just literally moved out the way.
Ray Phoenix did that not too long ago on AEW. They all moved and he hit the ground. I'm like, if I was Ray Phoenix, I'd walk to the back and punch every wrestler in the mouth. Like, don't you dare move when you're under me.
And there was so many guys to catch him. I was like, why didn't
you know what move I'm talking about? Yeah. Where he just dropped right on his back. Like, it was bad. Yeah. Dude, that's ridiculous. We just got a random email. We just got a random email that says, I'm the franchise of CCW. I don't know what that means, but people are weird. All right. Chris, next question, please.
That could be a couple of people. I mean, it could be Botavian, it could be Will Austin,
could be Benny Blanco.
It could be not the Brazilian Giant.
Did you watch our interview with Nelio?
I'll say that one more time.
Did you watch our interview with Nelio?
I probably have. I probably did, but I was that Tuesday?
That was Tuesday a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so on, how everybody has a name on the bottom of their Zoom call right here. It said Brazilian Giant, and we got to the end of the interview, and I'm like, dude. I'm like, why does it say Brazilian Giant? He changed it. It says not the Brazilian Giant. I popped so hard.
And we did two interviews that night. We did Pharaoh, and then we did Nelio after that. We finished with Nelio at like 11:15, and we're like still talking. And he's in a jacket, tied, in his room, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go edit, Breaking Chains right now." I'm like,
dude, you're Vince McMahon.
Do you, man? Dude, bro.
And behind the scenes, and you run a company. It's honestly, it's no sleep, bro.
And we stopped recording at like 11:15. We continued talking for another 20 minutes after that. It was
stop.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on CCW? Obviously, you jump school to school on different things because you're obviously you teach people, then you learn other things from different schools. What are your thoughts on CCW right now? Because that's who we have direct contact with. What are your thoughts on the school there and the the young wrestlers coming up in the business now? Where do you see them at, and who's that future of CCW? Who's that next group of guys coming up, and those kids that you're training?
I do have my eye on a couple guys. Benny Blanco is definitely one of them.
Hopefully, you only have one eye on him.
The reason why I say Benny Blanco is because he and I know he gets this a lot. He reminds me a lot of Enzo Amore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I couldn't stand Enzo Amore. I hated him, but he did his job. He made me hate him. That's what he's supposed to do. And that's what Benny does. Benny makes people hate him. And that might not go over well with a lot of people. But for me, it's dude, he's doing his job. Like, he's getting you to hate him, whether you hate him personally or whether you hate him inside the ring. He's doing his job. He's making you want to hate him. He's one of those guys that makes you want to punch him in the face, but at the same time, it's like, he's so good at it.
Yeah, no, he is. The only thing I hate him about is he wears pink flamingo bathing suit bottoms to the ring, and he looks like a Pepto-Bismol bottle. That's it. That's all I think.
I actually popped when he wore that. It was fucking great. To me, it was great. I loved it. I was like, dude, wear that again. No black vest. Come out with a pink bandana and the shorts, and oh my god, it's great.
Dude, and breaking chains. He came out. I'm like, you're wearing that to the ring? And he's like, yeah. What's wrong with it? I'm like, everything.
Chris doesn't like the pink. Chris doesn't like
that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point right there. What's wrong with it? Everything good.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on people on wrestlers such as Noah King or Bruce Leroy or Nasir Santana? I should bring up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Santana is definitely another guy I got my eye on. Bison Clutch is another guy.
Bison. Yes.
They just stand out to me. Bison has a bit of a mean streak that I'm patiently waiting to see come out. Santana is that hybrid athlete that he has the height, he can flip, he can do all types of things in the ring. So with him, I'm just excited to see his growth. Bruce Leroy, the same. He's a very athletic kid as well. Oh God, I'm calling them kids now.
Well, you're the old man. You're the old man. That's the reason why.
Actually, I think Bruce Leroy might be close to my age.
Yeah, he is. He's around our age. Yeah.
But he's another one of those guys who's just, just unbelievably athletic, raw, but they're still green. So they still have some learning to do. They remind me of me when I was first starting. Like, I was just excited to just be in the ring and do any and everything. But as my career progressed, I calmed down a lot with like the high flying and the diving and doing all the big flips and tricks and stuff. I kind of steered away from that just to, well, one, because a lot of people are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I wanted to be more well-rounded. So if a promoter comes to me and say, oh, can you do that flippy stuff? Yeah, I can if you want me to. Oh, can you not go outside of the ring? Yeah, I can if you want me to. Can you do a dive? Yeah, I can if you want me to. So pretty much anything that is asked of me, I want to be able to do, whether that be chain wrestling, submission, brawling, high flying, face, heel, whatever. I want to be well-rounded in all aspects, so that way they can't say, oh, Jake St. Patrick's only good at this or he's only good at that. No, Jake St. Patrick is good at everything. Try finding something that Jake St. Patrick isn't good at.
Picking football team. If you pick bad football teams.
Yeah.
I'm from Illinois, so
the promoter.
Believe it or not, though, when I used to live in Denver as a kid, and the Denver Broncos were my favorite team back then because of Terrell Davis.
Why don't you and Alex Ocean go hang out? Okay.
That's one of my best buds. I love Alex.
The promoter you were imitating right there. Can you do a flip? Was that the guy from Southpaw Wrestling?
No, actually, he was a guy from Illinois, and he had that old school wrestler voice. And I'm like, is that his real voice? No, that's my real voice. This is exactly how I talk. He talks just like that. I'm like, oh wow, he literally has that nasty boys earthquake voice.
That's awesome. Like if you're not a wrestling fan and like someone's like, oh yeah, there's a guy that owns a wrestling company and promotes these shows, like the non-wrestling fan would be like, okay, this is what the person sounds like, and that would be identical to what the person sounds like. Like they'd be like, oh yeah, can you do a flip, kid? Like that's what.
Find our worst Vince McMahon impression.
God damn it, pal.
Oh man, going so far. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget. Brought to you this show. This show is brought to you by M&J Ecological. 305-697-2258. Make sure you guys hit up Marcus for any of your nuisance needs. Reptiles, iguanas, snakes, baby mamas, kids you don't want. 305-697-2258. Marcus, handling the Miami, Broward, West Palm Beach, Tri-County area. And if you are in South Florida and you want to be a wrestler, CCW is where you want to be. Coastal Championship Wrestling. So what is obviously you guys have a bunch of shows coming up, right? Like, I mean, are you booked for these shows? Bash at the Brew, Enter the Machine, Homecoming. Are you going to be at these shows for CCW?
I am not. They are not set in stone. The only one that is set in stone is the February 20th in Nashville.
Yes, we get to see Jake St. Patrick live.
I am 101,000% going to be in Nashville on February 20th.
Same.
January 9th, I believe that's
that is Revolution.
Yeah, that's Revolution. Fort Pierce, yeah. It's not set in stone if I'll be in that one or not. And then Homecoming, pretty sure I'm going to be at that one, but I have to check my schedule for that.
That is January 16th and 17th. Homecoming day 1 is January 16th. Day 2 is January 17th. Day 1.
They don't do it backwards. They don't do day 2 on the first day of the week.
And then
the way you explained it, it was very awkward.
Benny Blanco's watching the show. I have to slow things down for him. And then first night is start at 8 p.m. and the second show, which is January 17th, starts at 1 p.m. I believe during the day.
Mm-hmm.
We have El Jefe Santos in the building. The Colones, the tag team champions, are in the building. So it's going to be a big show for CCW. And then February 9th, I believe it is, or 6th, they have Bash at the Brew.
6, because 2 weeks before the 20th.
Yeah, down in Miami.
Nashville. Mm-hmm.
Down in Miami, yeah, Bash at the Brew. That's Saturday, so that's good. Hopefully gonna be a big show. Hopefully we get you there for that. Maybe do a run in on like Bugs or something and just
most of those wrestling shows. If I'm not booked up here in the Orlando area, most of the time I make those shows.
Okay, so you're in Orlando.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I thought you were in Fort Lauderdale. All right.
Nope.
Yeah, because I called Will, or I called our anonymous questionnaire tonight, and I was like, yeah, apparently he's leaving practice a little late, and he was like, they have practice tonight? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Orlando. Okay, got it.
Well, he says he is trained by Devon, and I don't think Devon's down here, sir.
No, I know, but I didn't know if he went to some of the training classes at CCW either. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, now occasionally I have made a trip down to CCW for practices.
Okay.
For example, when Brian Cage came down for that seminar, I was there for that. There's been a couple of times where I just came down randomly, like on a random Monday or a random Wednesday, and I would train with the guys. Anything they needed help with, I'd be there to help them out. Yeah, CCW is always going to be home for me.
Yeah, for sure. So now my first time seeing you live was at Breaking Chains. I've always seen videos and everything like that. I really like that tag team dynamic that you have with Sage Scott. How did you get linked up with him?
Funny. So I want to say it was September of 2018. WXW, World Extreme Wrestling, which is ran by Alpha of the Wild Samoans. They had a seminar, and it had God rest his soul, Rocky Johnson was there, Gangrel, King Haku, Samu, Alpha, Sika, Coach Johnny Moss from NXT, Kona Reeves was there, and me and Sage, this is I want to say this is the second time me and Sage had ever been at anything with each other. The first time we had a 6-man cruiserweight match. It was me, Sage Scott, Sam C, Chuckles the Clown, Aaron Nova, and Logan. I can't remember his last name. I want to say Logan Wolf, but I'm not sure. So that was the first time me and Sage had ever seen each other, first time we had ever done anything with each other in the ring, and it was chemistry right off the bat. So when we went to the seminar, we had paired up with each other, and we were running, the drills and stuff that they told us to run with each other. And literally, I think after maybe the second drill that we ran with each other, Alpha called us both over, and he was like, "What are you guys' names? I'm going to take your information down. We're going to use you guys as a tag team." And right then and there, Sage Scott and Jake St. Patrick teamed up and
Dude, that's
The
so
rest is
fucking
history.
cool, man. That's so awesome.
It's so crazy because we sat second row for Breaking Chains, and I'm an Alex Ocean fan, and I like the American Horror Story gimmick, and everything like that. Then watching you, all four of you guys, the chemistry you guys had in the ring, but I gravitated towards you and Sage, just the way you guys flowed in the ring, just the way your tag team moves, the way you guys set it up for each other and everything like that. There was no missed spots. Everything was smooth. And I turned to Joe and I said, these guys work really well together. Like, these are the shining light. Like, this is like, it's like lightning in a bottle, basically. It's cliche you could say, and I didn't know. I mean, I've seen Sage in some reviews and like some results from the West Coast and everything like that. I've never seen him personally. But when you tell me that he was in a cruiserweight match with you, he's a big cruiserweight.
Very big cruiserweight.
There's been times where we've said that Sage, you're not a cruiserweight, right? And he was American Combat Wrestling's cruiserweight champion for a very long time, and he was running a little thing with Aaron Nova, where Aaron Nova was literally weigh him before the match to see if he was a cruiserweight.
It's like when you say that, I'm like, okay, I know Chuckles the Clown. I was like, and then I'm trying to
and Chuckles isn't even a cruiserweight.
No, he's not. No. So I'm like trying to picture this cruiserweight match. I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, that's what made that match so funny, because Sage Scott is this cock buff diesel, freaking linebacker looking fella, and then you got Chuckles, who's at least 215, 220 easy.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, no, that 6-man match was great.
Is there anywhere we could find it?
You know what? It might be on my YouTube.
Okay. We'll have to go take a look.
It might be on my YouTube. Now, I have literally a still camera, so I didn't have anyone moving. So
okay.
some of the things that happen on the outside, you probably can't see.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that happened in the ring, you can see as clear as day.
Joe, do you know who Chuckles the Clown is?
Heard of him, yes.
Have you seen him before?
I have not had the pleasure.
He travels. I mean, he goes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Everywhere.
Is this the one that dated Mick Foley's daughter?
No.
That's
Frank the Clown.
I know.
Chuckles the Clown. He travels. I mean, pretty much everywhere. Mainly in the Florida, and he wrestles in like a clown overalls, kind of like one strap, and he's got these like he's bald and he's got like Bozo the Clown hair that hangs down, and like he's got the old remember when Doink the Clown went to ECW and Matt Bourne had half his face painted? Kind of like that, like a distorted, but it's such an intriguing character.
I think it's the clown guy from House of 1,000 Corpses.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Dude, and he's like unorthodox in the ring. Like, it's just so weird. He's big body frame, and just what he does in the ring, it's very unorthodox. Like,
Chuckles, hands down, is one of the greatest guys you will ever meet. But in the ring, he's so unorthodox, you don't know what that guy's gonna do. But he is so entertaining and so fun to watch. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. The bell rings, he'll be on one of the corner turnbuckles just doing this, hitting his head on the corner turnbuckle until you come and get him. And like, even when you come to get him, he'll move to go to another one, and then you'll end up hitting that turnbuckle. And oh my God, it's the greatest thing on earth. I love it. I love Chuckles.
He's like a dark version of Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
But it's not like comedy though. It's just like you don't expect it, kind of. So you're laughing because you don't expect it.
It's
entertaining. It's so
entertainment. Exactly.
I know what I'm doing after the show. So one of the things I wanted to get in with you was, and Nelio had kind of touched into this with you or about you. You lived the dream, man. You actually had a tryout with WWE. Am I correct?
Incorrect.
Okay.
I have not had a tryout with WWE. I've had an Evolve tryout, and I've had tryouts at Evolve that had WWE coaches there. I've had one-on-one talks with those coaches, but I have not had an NXT tryout, a WWE tryout, an AEW tryout. I have had no tryouts yet.
yet.
When did you have that Evolve tryout?
That was, let me see, the first one I went to was in 2018 in Ybor City. That was with Robbie Brookside. And then the latest one I had right before COVID had hit, Timothy Thatcher and Walter were there. Oh, Tommaso Ciampa was there too.
Very nice.
Those are some great people to be wrestling in front of. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah. And again, that's one of those learning experience from those guys. They actually watched my match and, they critiqued it a little bit. And I was like, thank you.
Even if you take the wrestlers out of it, like the Walter, the Tommaso Ciampa, the Thatcher and everything, Robbie Brookside has let it be known when he goes to watch someone or like he doesn't pander off from the ring. His eyes are locked on.
Oh, no, he's glued. He's glued.
Because if he's not there to see Jake St. Patrick and you don't impress him, but there might be someone else that will be there that will impress him. So it's kind of like when you're going to scout somebody in college for football. Like you're going to scout that quarterback, but you know what? That wide receiver is actually really, really good, So, that's what
Robbie Brookside likes the way I hit the turnbuckles. He likes the way I hit the corners.
Okay. Oh, so you're not a Freddie Ehi and hit the middle rope, huh?
Why is this guy being brought up?
That's actually happened to me before, and it hurt very, very bad.
That's what Noah King and I got into a 25-minute conversation about Freddie Ehi hitting the middle rope, and we don't know how he does it, and makes it look so clean and doesn't trip, doesn't fall through the ropes or anything. Like it just blows my mind.
And he's not short either.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I said the same
when Rey
thing.
Mysterio hits it, it's like, okay, he's
a smaller guy, he's a smaller talent, yeah.
He's 5'2", 5'3" with the boots on.
And the mask with the horns.
Exactly. So I can understand him, but Yeehaw, he's about 5'9", 5'10".
He's Sage Scott, just a little taller than Sage Scott.
So he's about 5'8" then, 5'8".
And the same build and everything, and he just falls down into the middle. Like it's just crazy. Like the best independent match I've ever seen, I think it was on an Evolve show, was Kyle O'Reilly versus Freddie Ehi. Hands down, best 20-minute match, because you had grappling, you had chain wrestling, you had everything. And it's by far, if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. Now that Evolve's on WWE Network that I don't pay $9.99 for, I use somebody else's.
Hello.
Smart man.
Exactly. I do pay for Impact Plus though. I like watching TNA.
Chris, go ahead. Your question.
Besides that anonymous fan that asked you the question, and you would have a 5-star match with Will Austin. I mean, I don't know who. There could be one or two people. It could have been Will Austin or his number one fan that sent that in. But who in wrestling right now, in any company, NXT, any indie, anything like that, who would Jake St. Patrick have a match with and be 5 stars anywhere?
You just said his name, Kyle O'Reilly.
Awesome.
I thought you were going to say Will Austin. I was like, what?
Don't bring that schlub up.
What's funny is, if I'm not mistaken, Kyle O'Reilly held one of the titles that I've been trying to get since I started, and that is the 01 USA Junior Heavyweight Championship. It looks like the X Division title.
Yes, I do remember this. I think he had it on that Evolve show that I watched.
And ever since I learned he had that belt, I've wanted to go against him ever since. And I every time I think I'm gonna get close to him, he just shoots up. He went from the Indies to Evolve. He went from Evolve to NXT, and I was like, I'm never gonna catch up to this guy. And the same thing happened with Leo Rush.
Yes, but he's coming back to Indies.
Him so bad, and he just.
You have Leo Rush coming up on who's he wrestling? Myron Reed on MLW.
Myron Reed's another one. He actually, so when I moved, the first time I moved from Illinois to Florida, I was wrestling for 01 USA. Literally, as soon as I left, Myron Reed started wrestling for 01 USA. So I just missed him.
He's another good one, man. I mean, we watched
him. I can't. I want to call him a kid because he's young, but I can't call him a kid. That dude is out of this world scary talented. Oh my God. I love that dude so
And
much.
so is Jordan Oliver. Jordan Oliver is the same way.
Oh yeah.
They're both. I mean, we watched when MLW had their like war games down here.
I was there.
We watched. We were actually standing by the merch tables when Penta and LA Park had their street fight, and a table almost landed on me. Like they picked it up and they went to go throw it, and I was just standing there.
I tried to push him.
Here's a table coming at me. I'm like, holy shit! Like,
I was actually security after. So I had a match with Ricky Martinez that night.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I was working security, so I know exactly where you guys were. So there's the entrance to where the wrestlers were coming out of. You guys were on this side of the ring.
Yeah.
Wait, you were there. You were there?
Yep. I was there.
Oh shit.
I'm actually pretty sure he actually pushed us to get us back.
I probably just pushed the barricade. Yeah, it was the same night Alex Ocean had a match with James Storm.
Wait, was this? No. This is a different night.
No. This was
no. James Storm was that? Yeah.
No. This was a war. This was War Game. This was a War Games episode.
Yeah, they used one of our rings. They used the CCW ring. Was it at the War Memorial?
Yeah. I don't remember James Storm having a match.
James Storm and Alex Ocean at all.
Yeah. It happened quick.
Yes.
James Storm slapped the hell out of Alex and then super kicked him.
Yes, I do remember this. Because I complained. Because of the fact that the match was our seats that we didn't sit in were on by the bar, and that James Storm match happened on the other side, on the other ring. Yeah, so I was like, fuck this. Let's get up and go over there.
Yep, because my match had happened in the left ring, and Alex and James' match happened in the right ring. And then that was the night Barrington Hughes, what could we call him now? Johnny, whatever he wanted to be called back then. Johnny was in that match. Oh God, what's his name? Shane Strickland was supposed to be in the match, but he got put through a table, so he didn't even come out. God, who else was in that match?
That's wild that you were there, dude. That's crazy. I didn't know Alex Ocean was there.
Yep. And what's crazy is that so when Low Key was there, he showed up, and I had already had my gear on, and I saw Low Key's gear, and he had the same exact kick pads I had, so I had to take my kick pads off and switch to a different pair of kick pads.
Did he say something to you? Did he mention?
He did not. Okay. He did not. But I was like, but again, he has that respect. So I was like, I'm not gonna wear the same kick pads as Low Key. I'm just gonna wear my all black ones, and then we're gonna call it one.
I just figured he would have gone on to him, hey kid, we got the same kick pads. You gotta get your kick pads, change them.
Pretty much. He's a pretty nice guy. He probably wouldn't have cared.
No, yeah, because it was right after that he started getting into that Hitman Assassin gimmick with the suspenders.
That was the night. I think it was him and Ray Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yep. And they were throwing dollar bills in the ring.
Yes.
And I think Phoenix was bleeding that night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, both Penta and Phoenix were bleeding. Because that's when LA Park and Penta had their match, and they both ripped open their mask, and they were bleeding, they were gushing all over the place.
Is that the same LA Park that passed away?
No, we discussed this.
Have we? I thought we had.
Yeah, the LA Park that's in MLW is the original La Parka, but he never trademarked it when he left WCW. So then in Mexico, another La Parka trademarked it. So the LA Park is the original La Parka.
Gotcha.
And La Parka died. So the one that's trademarked died.
That's really
and his family owns La Parka, so LA Park, the original one, can't use it. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That deserves like its own segment. All right, where do we go from here? I mean, this has been a hell of an interview.
Where does Jake St. Patrick want to go from here? Where does he see his career go?
I've wanted to be in Japan for a little while, just so I can get that style of wrestling. My end goal is either going to be AEW or WWE. That is my end goal.
So TNA is not even an option.
Oh, Impact is definitely an option.
Okay.
But again, I'm willing to go anywhere. So that could be MLW, that could be Impact, that could be NWA, that could be AEW, NXT, or WWE. But again, the end goal, and that's just because I've been watching it for my entire life, is WWE.
Can I put you in a pickle?
You can put me in a couple of them. Go ahead.
If you had an AEW contract and a WWE contract for the same amount of money, same amount of years, which one you picking up?
WWE.
Is it because of the name?
Again, it's not only because of the name, it's just because I don't know, that's what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. Again, I've been watching it since I was born. Mm-hmm. And granted, yeah, there are some former guys from WWE who are in AEW. And I do know some of the backstage stuff that goes on. I won't get into that, but I will say this. AEW would probably be more of a laid back place to be, whereas WWE would be more of
business oriented,
like be on your best P's and Q's.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. They're more corporate industry. They feel more corporate.
Yeah,
right.
But again, yeah, between a rock and a hard place, I'd probably go with WWE, and it's not a shot to AEW.
No, and I didn't want to put that. I feel like an asshole asking that question. I'm sorry.
Good job, dumbass.
Cody watches our show.
Yeah.
So
he steals all my.
Cody too, but again, that's, and even Devon has said this. If you're in this business, you want to go to WWE. There's some part of you that wants to go there, whether it be a small part or whether it be the biggest part of you. Some part of you wants to go to WWE. He's like, if you're in this business and some part of you doesn't want to go to WWE, what are you doing?
Well, it looks good on your cagematch.com or .net's resume. You wrestled for WWE, and everything like that. As a fan, I'm not going to tell you to go to AEW or WWE. I would say I can see you having better matches in Impact.
Who saw that coming?
No, it's just
I have friends at Impact.
Ace Austin, Chris Bay. I
would love a match with Chris Bay and Rich Swann.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just. It would be so Jake Chris isn't there anymore, but like Sami Callihan, because he's a brawler, but he, you have that style. Like you said, you can do the dives, you can do the chain wrestling, you do brawling. Sami Callihan can do that. Like everyone doesn't realize that, but he can do that type style.
Oh, yeah.
Like you, Chris Bay, Rich Swann, even Sawyer Fulton, it's more of a, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, the dynamic as a fan, I can see you, going to higher levels in TNA and being a top guy. Granted, TNA's and Impact isn't really a top promotion right now.
They're about to get bought out, but
stop spreading rumors.
Can we make a dream match really quick?
Are you gonna say Jake St. Patrick and Kenny Omega?
No, God, dude, have respect for the man. He's right there. In my mind, I'm just like, dude, this would have been great at pancakes and pile drivers. You have Ricochet, Swerve Scott in a 5-way, Swerve Scott, Chris Bay, Rich Swann, and Jake St. Patrick. That would have been sold out.
They'll probably be doing more flying than I will.
That would have sold out. Well,
that's, there's no disrespect.
They're going to do a lot more flying than I will.
Dude, I look at you, bro, and I look at you, and I'm like, dude, him and Ricochet could have a fucking match and a half.
Well, Ricochet back in 2017, not Ricochet now.
Not this Ricochet now. I'm talking about Ricochet.
Ricochet. See, I'll give you something. Ricochet was at a practice at Devon's not too long ago.
Okay.
And the things I saw that dude do in practice, he doesn't do on TV.
No, he's probably told not to.
But if that guy is given the green light, man,
Dude, we watched him live. I found out too, it was the first ever Pancakes Pile Drivers hosted by Sam Callahan. And it was Ricochet and Swerve Scott in the King of what was it, King of Flight or whatever match?
King of Swing.
King of what?
King of Swing.
King of Swing. That's what it was. And dude, they put on a hell of a show. Oh, yeah. I went back and watched it, and it was absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely getting 5 stars out of those guys easy.
Well, and you know what's mentioned is Joe said about a 5-way. After that Pancakes and Pile Driver show, there was a CZW Best of the Best 16. Opening match was Joey Janela, Shane Strickland, Ricochet, Leo Rush. Yeah, it was 4. It was 4. But like you said, Joey Janela, he'll let them fly. Let them flip flop and fly. You know, you would be the Joey Janela in that group. You know, that's.
I do my one moonsault, and that would be it.
That's what he did. That's exactly what he did. He got up on the top turnbuckle, stood up on the post, and jumped to the outside. That was his one dive. That was it.
That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah. That's just from a fan's. Seeing your matches, I think it would work well in TNA. Just with the talent that they have, and also their roster's not overloaded like other promotions.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
See, yeah.
Jake St. Patrick inside the Paradox tonight. This has been truly one of the greatest ways I thought we could ever kick off season 3. This has been absolutely amazing, man. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
We have been going. I don't know if you actually kept track. We've been going for quite a while now.
Oh, well, we're having fun.
We got lost in the moment, and it's been a hell of a moment. It's been awesome. Jake, thank you for joining us tonight, and we appreciate you coming on. I actually have a question for you after the show, so please stick around.
Absolutely.
You're probably gonna be like, no, fuck this guy, and hang up. But once again, this show is sponsored by M&J Ecological 305. What is the number again, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. I sing a jingle in my head every time you say it. wait, hold on. It's 305-697-2258.
305-697-2258. M&J Ecological is Marcus standing by. So I always do this for every person that joins us. You will get a shirt, obviously, from the Paradox. But I'm going to give you 60 seconds. This is your show. Close it out. You have the mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you have been listening to the Jake of all trades, the man himself, Jake St. Patrick. And you can follow me at Facebook, Jake St. Patrick. That is JAKEST Patrick. You can follow me on Twitter at Bangarang Jake. That is BANGERANG Jake, JAKE. You can follow me on Instagram at Jake_St. Patrick. Follow me on YouTube, subscribe. That is Jake St. Patrick Wrestling. And if you have anything else, ladies and gentlemen, inbox me.
Do you have anything to say to the anonymous emailer?
Keep doing what you're doing because you're entertaining.
In and outside of the ring.
You know what else is entertaining? Hey, Chris, you know what to say, right?
Something stupid.